Happy Saturday to each and every one of you, and welcome to something a little new on the channel. Now, I know most of you are used to me covering video games or streaming video games. That will continue along with my rants. But starting today, a little something different added to the channel. GBcast begins. And I'm actually really excited about this. It's something I've been kind of wanting to do for a while now. And I think the time is right. And I appreciate each and every one of you, my awesome viewers, subscribers, mods, fans, friends of the GeauxBurns Nation, for being part of this premiere. And hopefully it'll be something that you guys might want to continue watching. And like I said, it's not going to replace anything else on the channel. We're still going to stream Red Dead Online when the new update comes out on Tuesday. We'll talk some more about that later on in the GBcast. But I'm just branching out, and I want to have a platform where I talk about other things besides video games. We will talk about video games here and video game consoles. You know, the top 3 we're talking about, and that's not the only 3 we're going to bring up. But, you know, I just in the title we'll always put like the top 3, and then a variety of other things are going to come up as well. But before we get started, let's say hello to everybody in chat. Beast Mode, Ishmael, UG Outlaw, Paradise Gamer, Riley, along with Kane, Ryan, see Joe, Red Pepper, Monster Jam, see Greg Gamer, Archangel. Good to have you all here. All my awesome viewers, subscribers, fans, along with the Super Chat heroes for February 2019. And let's see, Work's here. Hello, Work. Melt Mimic. Hello, Melt. And, of course, our members. See, Tommy. Crone. I'm always going to call you Crone. You can go by that your real name if you want, but I'm still going to call you Crone. Crone's here. King's here. And also, of course, we got to acknowledge our awesome members going above and beyond for the GeauxBurns Nation. Trippy Mark, Zoa, Aaron Thomas, my good friend Azralynn, Hutch, Oliver King, Carrick over at ACG, one of the best reviewers of games, AAA and Indie. See Chris Brad 79, Fat Chinese Gaming, UG Outlaw, Cyber Games, El Davo, Paradise Gamer, MyDune, all members of the GeauxBurns Nation. Very much appreciated for your contributions. Never necessary, but it helps. So, let's see, a new subscriber, Hunter Gaming. Thanks for the sub. Welcome to the GeauxBurns Nation. Getting things started off right. But I do appreciate those of you that do donate. You never have to donate. No under obligation for super chatting or being a member. But for those of you who are, that's what we have the wall for. Very much appreciated. Oh, wrong button. I pressed the wrong button. Okay. So here we go. Why is that up? That's not supposed to be up. Oh, I know what that is. Okay, so I have this as, you know, an option to show you guys your words. See, there you guys are, all of you, doing your part for the channel. Yep, you all are awesome. But we are going to talk about Umbrella Academy. Start things off, of course. All right, thanks, Crone. Thanks for the £1.99. Have a coffee on me, and that's about the price of a coffee at Dunkin'. So thank you, Crone. Thank you very much. All right, so we got that. I'll probably figure out how to make that look cooler later on, but yeah, I can pull up the chat. I can pull up the chat and let you guys have your words on screen for everyone that's watching this later on. All right, so there's a new show on Netflix called Umbrella Academy, and several people were telling me about it. Other YouTubers that do their own thing I was watching, along with some friends. They're like, yo, GB, you got to check out Umbrella Academy. It's awesome. And so over the past few days, I've been binging it. And I agree. It's a great series, an awesome ensemble cast. Of course, you have Ellen Page as the star. She does a good job as her character. And I would say just about everybody on the show is fantastic. And there's obviously a lot of new people, some that have been in other things, but for the most part, a lot of these actors and actresses, this is kind of like their first time thing, well, that they're going to be known for going forward. But the first season, of Umbrella Academy on Netflix. If you're into comic books and, comic book heroes, it's definitely worth checking out. And I never heard of the Umbrella Academy, but it is, I guess you could say, it was a lesser known comic book series, but I think this is definitely going to make it a lot more popular thanks to the series on Netflix. 10 episodes total. So, yeah, I mean, it's basically, some people were saying this is going to be what ends up replacing the Netflix Marvel Cinematic Universe. However, I don't know. I mean, it sucks. We're going to talk about that in a minute because I thought that would be a good tie-in, but we'll get to that in a moment about, the shows that are going away. And UG Outlaw with the €2 have a second coffee. Well, I already had my coffee earlier, guys. I do appreciate the super chats. So we'll add y'all to the wall for the rest of the month. I had my coffee earlier. Right now, I'm just having a tea. Having my unsweet tea. But usually I only have 1 cup of coffee a day. I limit myself to 1 cup of coffee a day and 1 cup of tea a day, and everything else is usually water. So that's pretty much what I have. But going back to my thoughts about Umbrella Academy, I'll give you guys a premise. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But this is basically the premise. We'll scroll down and read the premise real quick. Let's see. Reunited by their father's death, estranged siblings with extraordinary powers uncover shocking family secrets. Okay, so that's basically the premise. But it's very interesting. The idea is that on one day, in this series, in October 1989, across the world, 43 children are born through, I guess you could say, immaculate conception. They're just all of a sudden born. And you have this eccentric billionaire who tries to adopt all of them. And he's, for whatever rhyme or reason, he's only able to adopt 7 of them. And basically, he makes them, because they have superpowers. Each one has their own superpower. And he basically raises them and trains them. And there's several flashbacks to when they're kids. But most of the story revolves around them being adults. Well, except for 5. Well, I'm not going to spoil it, but 5 is probably my favorite. He's awesome. 5 is freaking awesome. He's cool. He's such an ass sometimes, though, but it all makes sense throughout the series of the Umbrella Academy. So you have the Umbrella Academy. That's what they're called. And I guess you could say they're kind of like the X-Men in a way, or any other group, or like the Justice League of sorts. But they each have their own abilities, their own superpowers. And it was great. It was entertaining. It had, moments that made you laugh, moments that made you feel. And it did take at least a couple episodes for you to really get into it, because this is a brand new series, brand new characters for anybody that's not familiar with the Umbrella Academy. But you do get to know these characters, and you become attached to most of them. I would say overall I liked them all. Even like a lot of the secondary characters, the reoccurring characters that you run into, they're pretty good. And overall, I really did enjoy the first season of Umbrella Academy. And I'm very excited for hopefully a second season. I haven't heard anything about a second season, but Umbrella Academy's trending really well still after a few weeks of it launching on Netflix. And a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are excited about it. And it's definitely worth checking out, like I said, especially if you are into comic books, comic book characters, looking for something a little different, and you happen to have Netflix. I would highly recommend you check out Umbrella Academy. And if anyone else has watched Umbrella Academy, as long as you don't spoil it, feel free and let me know in chat your thoughts about Umbrella Academy. El Davo, what's up, El Davo? How's it going? Let's see, King301. Well, guess I'm going to have to watch Umbrella Academy. Yes, check out Umbrella Academy and let me know what you think of it. I hope you guys enjoy that. Yes. Okay, so speaking of Netflix, let's go ahead and talk about the shows that are basically being, I guess, sent away from Netflix. This is over on IGN, by the way. Netflix cancels The Punisher and Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones Season 3 will still air. So, this issue started happening when Disney decided to have their own streaming service, like everyone else has their own streaming service. Kamal, what's up, Kamal? How's it going? All right, so now that Disney has their own streaming service, I guess it made Netflix salty because Netflix was like, hey, we used to be friends, and now you're doing your own thing. And Netflix is like, no, okay, fine. We're just going to cancel any deals we have with Disney, which included the Marvel shows. Which, unfortunately, you know, there were a few fans of these Marvel shows, like Daredevil, which was the flagship, Jessica Jones, along with Luke Cage, The Punisher, see, Iron Fist, The Defenders. The Defenders really wasn't that good. So I'm glad to see you're doing good, Kamal. Very good. So, yeah. Sadly, it's the end of an era for the Marvel Netflix shows. And they had already canceled They already canceled Daredevil. They already canceled Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Iron Fist really wasn't a surprise, and it didn't really do so well, even though it was given 2 seasons. Luke Cage was hit or miss. It had its moments, but in the end, it didn't do as well, so it naturally got canceled. The really big shock was, of course, Daredevil. Like I mentioned, the flagship of the Marvel Netflix series. And Kamal, we're doing something different, obviously. We're not doing that. We're doing this. So stop talking about it. Anyways, so yeah. Once they shut down any future production of Daredevil, because a lot of people assumed that we would get at least a 4th season of Daredevil because Season 3 was so good. Season 1 was really good. Season 2 was all right. And Season 3 was good. So a lot of us assumed that because it did well, because it also trended well, that we would get a 4th season of Daredevil, despite the fact that Iron Fist and Luke Cage unfortunately got the axe. But this pretty much confirmed that things were over between Netflix and Disney. And unfortunately, the cancellations of The Punisher and Jessica Jones are no real surprise. Ghost Fixer! Hello, Ghost Fixer. Hope you're doing well today. By the way, this is very interactive. You guys are welcome to chime in the chat with your views and opinions about any topic that we bring up today. And so I enjoyed the 1st and 2nd seasons of The Punisher. And technically, you could say that the 2nd season of Daredevil was also an unofficial season of The Punisher as well. It's more of the, I guess, the Marvel Netflix Punisher Origins episodes. So we did get a lot more Punisher than I thought we were going to get. And Jessica Jones, the 1st season of Jessica Jones was okay. The 2nd was also hit or miss. I hope that the 3rd season does well. I'm definitely going to watch the 3rd season of Jessica Jones. I do like Christian Ritter. I think she's a great actress. And it's unfortunate that, it's an end of the era of the Marvel Netflix series. So you can see that Netflix is, I guess they were planning ahead for this, and that's why they have other shows in mind, which they hope will replace the Netflix Marvel shows. Now, the Netflix Marvel shows weren't going to last forever. Eventually, there was going to be an end to them. I don't like shows that just keep dragging on because eventually, even if they start off real good for the first few seasons, they start to be watered down, like, I don't know, The Walking Dead, for example. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Archangel, I'm waiting for Disney to make their own gaming console, along with, let's see, Kane. See, I feel like Netflix didn't understand the character of the Punisher. This would explain the problem. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I felt like that they did a good version of Frank Castle. Not 100%, but at the same time, you're always going to have that in any sort of translation from comics to a TV show or to a movie. It's never going to be 100% the same. But for the most part, I felt like they did a good job with Frank Castle, a.k.a. The Punisher. Could have there been some things improved upon and done better? I think so. But I think that John Berthal did a great job as Frank Castle. I think he was perfectly casted for the role of The Punisher. Let's see, Red Pepper, I'm looking forward to Stranger Things in July 2019. As am I. I love the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things. Riley, Daredevil, and The Punisher were only good ones, in your opinion. Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed those 2 as well. Jessica Jones, first season I liked. Second season, hit or miss. So I'm hoping the 3rd season is better. Let's see. Ghost Fixer doing pretty good. Just applied Best Buy. Well, I hope that goes well for you, Ghost Fixer. See, Paradise Gamer. I'm hoping that they add the original Transformers cartoons. Yeah, that's another thing we need to talk about. Thanks for bringing that up, Paradise Gamer. See, Wig, I'm a fan of The Walking Dead, but I haven't watched ever since. Yeah, The Walking Dead has gotten better this past season, but at the same time, yeah, it's trying to make up for several bad seasons in a row, and a lot of the main cast has left the series. Now, can The Walking Dead survive without them? Maybe. I guess we'll find out. See, Archangel Disney wants to take over everything. Pretty much. Let's see, Ghost Fixer, also like Jessica Jones, even though I never finished a lot of TV shows. Punisher was your second favorite? Cool, very cool. Let's see, Shane will always be your Punisher, wink, wink. See, Samari, what's up, Samari? Hope you're doing well today. Let's see, Kane, the main thing I'm upset about now is Daredevil getting the can. Yeah, it sucks. It really does suck that we're not going to get a 4th season of Daredevil. But there is talk of maybe Hulu, which I think is either going to be owned by Disney or has some sort of deal with Disney for maybe their more adultish type shows and maybe kind of continuing these shows, maybe just tweaking the name a little bit for the Punisher or Daredevil. So maybe they'll just take the same cast and crew and writers and kind of do like a soft reboot of the not all the shows, but maybe some of them. So that's another speculation out there. Another thought that maybe, just maybe, we haven't seen the last of Daredevil or the Punisher. But I think going forward, you're going to see a lot more unique shows based on lesser-known comic book series on not just Netflix, but probably other streaming services as well. Some of them are going to work out really good, like the Umbrella Academy, and some of them aren't. But I really hope that Umbrella Academy has several good seasons. Like I said a moment ago, I think that there is a lifespan to these shows, just like with Stranger Things. I think they're only going to get, 4 or 5 seasons total, which I think is a good thing, because the kids are continuing to get older and older, but they can justify that when it comes to Stranger Things. But after a while, yeah, you kind of have to let it go. You have to let it rest, because too many shows just go on and on and on. But there's some shows that are unfortunately canned before their time, before they have finished telling their story. And I agree, Riley. I think that Daredevil could have at least got one more season. Let's see, Wig, what about the movies that Ridiculous 6? Yeah, there's a lot of crap on Netflix as well, Wig. Tank Engine Jr., hello, Tank, how you doing? So while there is some diamonds, there is some good stuff on Netflix, not quote-unquote Netflix originals, and like I mentioned, Umbrella Academy is one of them. They also release a lot of stuff that isn't very good at all. Ghost Fixer, Stranger Things Season 3, definitely going to be the most interesting. Yeah, and I'm surprised that they're actually putting it out in July and not simply just waiting till October like they did with the previous 2 seasons of Stranger Things. But maybe it's themed around that time of year, so maybe that's why they're putting it out in July, because that's when Season 3 of Stranger Things is going to take place, in July somewhere in the 1980s. So, I mean, I do like that they do that, so I guess that makes sense if it's not going to be Halloween. Besides, it does seem kind of weird that they would keep doing it around Halloween over and over again. So it is kind of cool to see the kids during a different part of the year. And hopefully the Duffer Brothers do a good job continuing the story of Stranger Things. And like I said, I think that at the most, it's probably going to get maybe 1 or 2 more seasons. I think it's 4. I know Netflix would love for it to continue, but I want it to, have a solid 4 or 5 seasons, similar to Breaking Bad. And whenever it's meant to end, just let it end. Let it go out in a blaze of glory, as they say. Okay, so let's take a break from comic books for a minute and talk video games, since a lot of you have subscribed to my channel because of video games. Now, as some of you know, I did stream Far Cry New Dawn over the past week along with my good friend Silver. And yesterday I did do a review of Far Cry New Dawn. You're welcome to go check out that review, by the way. It's got a ton of views. Oh well, c'est la vie. It's better than nothing, you know. I didn't have anything else planned for yesterday. But anyways, interesting article here. And I've been hearing about this from others. This is off Eurogamer, by the way. Far Cry New Dawn physical sales, just a quarter of Far Cry Primal sales. Let's see, that is very fascinating. And it doesn't really surprise me. Now, bear in mind, this is off, I think, the UK chart. Now, according to this article from Eurogamer, Far Cry New Dawn did top the UK chart this week, but its launch sales were far cry short. Ha ha ha. From the predecessors, New Dawn sales were just 13% of Far Cry 5's opening weekend total. That's down massively, but to be expected. New Dawn was just a spin-off. Even if you compare New Dawn to Far Cry 4's spin-off Primal, last week's launch just sold 25% of Primal's 1 week total. And even from the beginning, when it was first announced at, what was it, Game Inform? No, the Game Awards in December, that's when we first heard about Far Cry New Dawn. I mean, basically, it looked and felt like an asset flip. It felt like something that they had been working on. Maybe it was originally intended to be a DLC. Probably better than those other DLCs that were released for Far Cry 5. Way better, as I mentioned in the review. But I think the original intention was for it to actually be a DLC. Similar to how Saints Row 4 started out. Saints Row 4 started out as a DLC to Saints Row the Third, but then I guess they just kept adding stuff to that DLC, and eventually it took a life of its own, and it became its own game, which obviously was, for the most part, an asset flip as well, because it was the same engine, it was basically the same city, but they just changed things up from Saints Row the Third to Saints Row 4. They added superpowers, which rendered stealing cars in Saints Row irrelevant when you could just run really fast and go up buildings and like fly around the place. You really no longer needed to steal cars anymore in Saints Row the 4. I mean, I enjoyed it, but you no longer needed cars when you could just be like the Flash or like Superman in Saints Row 4. So with Far Cry New Dawn, it was only a fraction of the Hope County map from Far Cry 5. And a lot of things you could tell were similar. I mean, there are a lot of NPCs, if you noticed, throughout the stream that basically are NPCs from Far Cry 5. Like a lot of the Resistance fighters, they're wearing the same clothing. And I'm willing to bet that you could probably go and do video of the random NPCs you encounter in Far Cry 5 with Far Cry New Dawn, and they'd be exactly the same. So, another prime example. And for the most part, they just reskinned the enemy NPCs from Eden's Gate Cult to the Highwaymen. Very original name. So, Kane, did you really have to bring up Far Cry Zombies? Ugh. Yuck. Let's see. Riley, Far Cry New Dawn was a downgrade of Far Cry 5. Could have been better. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. No, they already did Zombies Archangel with that crappy Far Cry Zombies DLC. That was horrible. Jason, hello Jason. Hope you're doing well today. So, yeah. Far Cry New Dawn. I did enjoy playing it. I thought the story was weak. And the characters were okay. It was kind of interesting to see where the characters were. What happened to them after the events of Far Cry 5. But, like I mentioned in the review, it just really wasn't that good, to be honest. If you're just playing it because you enjoyed playing Far Cry 5 and you just love just wandering around, you know, fighting enemy NPCs and raiding outposts and doing the side quests and looting and doing the expeditions, yeah, that stuff's fun. That stuff's fun. But for the most part, was it really necessary to do Far Cry New Dawn? Not really. Is it worth $40? No. And because of these projected sales, the fact that it's not doing so well. Now, bear in mind, this talks about physical sales, not digital. So digital, it may have done a little bit better in digital sales. But I feel like the fact that it came out along with some other games around the same time. I think Crackdown 3 came out, Metro Exodus came out, and I think I hear Anthem's not doing so well. But a lot of games came out around the same time as Far Cry New Dawn, and it was never meant to be a fully fledged game. I mean, Ubisoft even had a lower price tag on it for $40 US as opposed to $60 US for Far Cry 5. Let's see, Wig, what about Far Cry 4? I never played Far Cry 4. Far Cry 5 was actually my very first Far Cry game. I keep meaning to go back and play Far Cry 3 because I actually got a free copy of Far Cry 3 when I got Far Cry 5. Maybe one day. So don't call me Danny. What's up, Danny? How's it going? So, overall, like I said, I did enjoy Far Cry New Dawn, but it just felt like nothing more than a standalone DLC, an expansion. And I think it'll sell better once Ubisoft lowers the price. And I think they will, especially the fact that, you know, the sales are already down for Far Cry New Dawn, and it's only been out for a week now. Let's see, Cyber Games. What's happening, Cyber Games? Hope you're doing well today. So I think that's enough about Far Cry New Dawn. Once again, if you didn't get a chance, you can go check out my review of Far Cry New Dawn. So let's go back to movies, because that's what the GB cast is all about. A wide variety of topics. You know, gaming, comics, sci-fi, TV shows, movies. And there's a movie coming out in, what, I think, was it this week or next week? No, it's next week. Yeah, March 8th, or 2 weeks from now. So, Captain Marvel, my thoughts on it. Obviously, I think a lot of people are going to go see Captain Marvel because it takes place, well, I see your comments, Ishmael. We're moving on from Far Cry. We've moved on. But your comments are still there, Ishmael. Anyway, so my thoughts about Captain Marvel. I was thinking about going to see it. Because obviously, you know, Captain Marvel, she's going to play an important role in Avengers Endgame and going forward in the MCU. And for the most part, yeah, stop asking if you've been banned. You weren't banned. If you were banned, none of us would see your comments. So follow the rules and you won't get banned. But this is going to be interesting because I want to see y'all's comments about this as well. Now, I think that there's plenty of people out there that don't follow the news, don't follow anything trending or social media, that are just going to go see this because it's another superhero movie. And people love superhero movies. That's the thing right now. And it's obviously going to most likely end up tying into Avengers Endgame, which a lot of people, including myself, very excited about. Avengers Infinity War was awesome. And I enjoyed Ant-Man and the Wasp when it came out, over the summer. I just watched it recently on Netflix. So but I don't know. I mean, I was kind of on the fence about whether or not I was going to go watch this because I don't really go to the theaters that much. Unless it's like a rare occasion because, for one thing, it's expensive going. Even to the matinee, you get the ticket for a matinee, even if it's just you. You have to get a drink, you have to get some nachos or popcorn or, you know, something to snack on. So even at the matinee, it's not cheap. And then, of course, if you have to get up, which sometimes I have to go, you know, we all have to go sometimes. You can't hit the pause button. You can't like, wait, hit the pause button so I could run down to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. It's another reason why I wait till a lot of movies end up, you know, available to watch either on a streaming service or through Redbox, or if I really want it, I'll just purchase the DVD or the Blu-ray version of that movie. But unfortunately, I think Brie Larson has become antagonistic in some way. She hasn't exactly done a good job promoting this movie. Now, I don't have a problem with people's views and opinions. We all have them. But at the same time, some of the things that she has said is most likely going to hurt sales for Captain Marvel. So it's just another prime example how we live in this age in social media where everyone gets outraged about this or that, where everybody feels like they can just go on the attack often. And I don't have a problem with there being a message in movies and a message showing a person against all odds and everything being against them, somehow rising above everything else and proving that they can too be something special and be more than what everyone else thought they were going to be. But there's a right way and a wrong way to go about doing it. Yeah, there's a right way and a wrong way about doing it. So, I don't know. Let's look into the chat real quick and see what you guys have to say. All right. So, let's see. Jason looks meh. Yeah, a lot of the people were not very impressed with the trailers. So, see, Danny. What's up, Danny? How's it going? Let's see. A buddy cop movie with Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, it's going to have Samuel L. Jackson in it, which is, younger Nick Fury. So, they're going to do that age derez thing. So, that's definitely one of the appeals. Plus, they've been promoting the cat. Goose the cat, this orange tabby. And look, I like cats, I like dogs, but they've been really promoting the damn cat. I'm like, why didn't they just make a cat movie? I mean, I guess they could cast the cat in a remake of Cat's Eye. Maybe that's what they'll do next. They're rebooting and remaking everything. Why not reboot Cat's Eye? Let's see. The trailers were not very good. I agree, King 301. I mean, I hope that Captain Marvel does well. And I hope it's a good movie. I hope it is a good movie. But, I don't know what Brie Larson, she has her views and opinions. But I think that she's not helping things. She's not helping things, in my opinion. Sometimes people have a way of making things worse, not better. And being very divisive like she has been. I don't want to really go over things she said. Some of you already know some of the things she's talked about. Let's see, Cyber Games, not much of a fan of Marvel except Deadpool. Yeah, I did like the first Deadpool. Second Deadpool was okay. It could have been better, but anyways. See, don't call me Danny. It looks like Thanos snapped her booty out of existence. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard that they had to bring in a butt double for her, which is kind of weird. See, Riley, I never really cared for this movie. I'm planning on watching Alita Battle Angel. I hear Alita's good. Danny says Alita's badass. Yeah, I hear good things about Alita. People complain about her eyes. Like King 301, but it's just the way it is. That's the way the I mean, I'm not really knowledgeable about Alita Battle Angel, but that's the way her models are supposed to look like. They're supposed to have those big crazy eyes. But I hear it's really good though. I hear Alita Battle Angel's awesome. See, Kane, Captain Marvel looks meh, just to fill it for Endgame. Yeah, Cormac. Hey, Cormac, how's it going? Let's see how long the stream delay truly is. Well, I have to first finish my thought about something, then get to y'all's thoughts. But let's see, Ghost Fixer, yeah, I still know how I feel about Captain Marvel, but if they can make her go Super Saiyan in the movie, yeah, it does look like she does that a few times. It does seem like in some of the trailers she does go all Super Saiyan, right? Yeah, she did. But anyways, so that's Captain Marvel. I mean, I hope it's good, and I realize that the original Captain Marvel was male. That's not a big deal for me as long as the character works and fits in the Marvel Universe. Some people were talking about how she's going to be the most powerful Marvel character. And that's something I don't like. I mean, yeah, let's let her be powerful. She can be powerful. But does one have to be more powerful than any of the others? Can't they all, fit together? Like each one with their own strengths, their own weaknesses? Not everyone has to be a Mary Sue. But like I said, I sincerely hope that Captain Marvel turns out a lot more appealing than what a lot of people are speculating and concerned about. But I guess we'll find out. It's interesting because it's going to be set in the 90s, so there's going to be a lot of 90s nostalgia. So we've, for the most part, it looks like we're getting past the 80s nostalgia, and we're moving into the 90s nostalgia. We'll see how that goes. Because I was a 90s kid, even though I was born in 1980, I would say for the most part, I basically grew up in the 90s. Even though I do like things that are 80s. Also, I guess you could say I lean more towards the 90s. Yeah, Archangel. Captain Marvel is an origin story, and it's set in the 90s. Yep. Alright, so let's move on from Captain Marvel. Back to gaming. And let us talk about some tech stuff. I know I'm not exactly the expert when it comes to tech, but I thought this was interesting from Games Radar. PlayStation 5, backwards compatible all but confirmed by newly discovered patent. So this is something I know a lot of you are PlayStation 4 players, gamers, and I want your thoughts about this. Now, for the record, I happen to have everything. I have a PlayStation 4 Pro. I have an Xbox One X. I play on both. I stream on both. And I also play on PC. And I also have a Nintendo Switch that most of you know is well covered in dust and cobwebs right now. I only bought one game for it still. I still only have one game. Eventually I'll buy 2 games for the Switch one day, if it still works. Let's see. See, Ghost Fixer, what's funny is my friend is talking about nostalgia, and they're all seeing these blockbusters, but since he's in Oregon, okay. I thought there was only one blockbuster left. Yeah, I think there's only one blockbuster left. Let's see, Kari, let's see, this could very well be pertaining to PlayStation Now. It could be. We'll talk about that in just a second. Chris Brad 79, hello Chris. See, Sony would be downright stupid not to introduce backwards compatibility in the new generation. Let's see, Kari, it would be nice to have full backwards compatibility for the PlayStation 1 through 4, which I can give your hopes up. See, Daniel, if I wanted backwards compatibility, I would buy other consoles. Ha ha ha. That was the running joke before that became a big deal, Daniel. I hope you're being sarcastic there. But Kari, hopefully Microsoft's efforts on backwards compatibility in Xbox One will pressure Sony to focus that on the PS5. Now that's what this seems to imply, because according to Games Radar, other sources out there as well. Let's see, earlier this month, a patent was filed by Sony, seemed to suggest that the company was working on a backwards compatibility program for the PlayStation 5. The inevitable next-gen follow-up to the hugely successful console, the PlayStation 4. While it didn't outright confirm anything, a second Sony patent recently discovered online by a Gear Nuke has corroborated the suspicions that the PlayStation 5 will indeed be backwards compatible, especially as this one is explicitly mentioned backwards compatibility up front, titled, that's a title, let's see, Simulation of Legacy Bus Operation for Backwards Compatibility. The patent was registered at the same time as the previous one, but was only published this week and relates to a method which emulates the internal communications of a legacy system, old Sony hardware, for the company's new technology. See, the patent also refers to the ability to adjust the performance of legacy technology on updated hardware, which could be related to Sony's discovered plans for remastering by emulation, digitally remastering PlayStation 4 titles running on the PlayStation 5 via backwards compatibility, like how Xbox One plays old Xbox 360 games at a higher frame rates and, of course, 4K resolution. You basically get the idea. So, I think this is actually a given. No real shock. Now, when it was first announced that Xbox One was going to start dabbling in backwards compatibility for Xbox 360 games, a lot of people out there scoffed at it. They laughed. They thought it was funny. I didn't, because I loved my Xbox 360, and I still have a whole bunch of Xbox 360 games. And after buying an Xbox One, now I have an Xbox One X. There are several of those games I still want to continue playing every now and then, and I thought it was a fantastic idea, because even before that, you had OG Xbox games that were backwards compatible on the Xbox 360. You had the same thing with older PlayStations. So it seemed to be a given that a lot of people wanted the ability to play previous PlayStation games on the PlayStation 4. And unfortunately, unless it's a PlayStation 2 game, which you could purchase from the PlayStation Store, like a lot of the Rockstar games from the PlayStation 2 era, like the Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, The Warriors, Red Dead Revolver. Let's see, a few others as well. Let's see, Destroy All Humans was also a PlayStation 2 game you can purchase and play. There's a list of PlayStation 2 games that you can purchase through the PlayStation Store, download, and play on the PlayStation 4. And there are PlayStation 3 games that you can play through the horrible PlayStation Now streaming service. Hopefully, it'll eventually get better if Sony continues to promote PlayStation Now. They better start fixing that and make it run a lot more smoothly. Yes, Chris Brad 79, you're right. Bully is also another one of the games that was PlayStation 2 that you could purchase through the PlayStation Store and play on your PlayStation 4. So going back into the chat, let's see what is happening in chat. Let's see everyone's thoughts. Let's see, King301, I'll be getting a PC, so PlayStation 5, have fun. There always has to be one smartass. Well, we have several smartasses here. Let's see, Kari, PlayStation 1 and PS2 nowadays shouldn't be hard for them to emulate. I agree, Kari. You think it wouldn't be too difficult. See, Kari, the PlayStation 3's architects made it hard for developers to work on, so it's a different ball game. I've heard that about the PlayStation 3. They just made it way more complicated and difficult than need be. Ghost Fixer will be awesome if the PlayStation 5 has all the systems. Then I wouldn't have to worry about using my older PlayStation 2 anymore. Sadly, I never got a PlayStation 3. Yeah, I never got a PlayStation 3 either. I had a PlayStation 2. I had Xbox One, the original Xbox, Xbox 360, then PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and tons of other consoles before that. Let's see, Riley, I would love PlayStation 2 games on PlayStation 5. And like I said, there's already a library of PlayStation 2 games you can purchase and download on PS4, but hopefully they'll carry those games over to PlayStation 5 as well, especially if you've already purchased those games and have them in your library on PS4. Hopefully it'll be as simple as just, since it's all linked to your account anyways, it's like once you get your PlayStation 5, or eventually somewhere down the road, maybe it's not at launch, but maybe eventually Sony allows you to have backwards compatible games like from the PS4, PS2, and the original PlayStation. The PlayStation 3, like Kari said, could be a completely different matter entirely. Let's see, Danny, I still feel like all the Xbox 360 games should be backwards compatible, not just like titles. Well, there was tons of 360 games, though, don't call me Danny. And it takes a while for whoever's in charge of that at Microsoft, whatever team's behind the backwards compatibility, updating them, making them compatible with Xbox One, along with the, some that are 4K. It does take time for them to get that right. It's just not, it's not such a simple process. I'm not an expert at all, but I've read enough about it where it's not so simple as they just pop in Red Dead Redemption and magically it works. There's things they have to do technically behind the scenes in order to make it look better. And actually, Red Dead Redemption is, I streamed it leading up to Red Dead Redemption 2 on the Xbox One X, and it looks very good on the Xbox One X. And that's what I'm hoping for when it comes to the future of backwards compatibility. Can only hope, right? Let's see, playing Grand Theft Auto 4 on PlayStation 5. Yeah, that would be cool. Like an updated version of Grand Theft Auto 4. I wonder how that would look. Hopefully it'd be decent game, hopefully. Let's see, Car, you also have to take into account the digital backwards compatibility because a lot of people have bought digital games as well. Yeah, exactly, that's what we're talking about. The ability, since you've already bought it and you technically own it, even though it's digital, you should be able to have the right to transfer it over from your PS4 to your PS5. Let's see, I only have one video game for Xbox One backwards compatible. It's Half-Life 2. I hear Half-Life 2 actually looks really good on backwards compatible for Xbox One. Let's see, King301 wanting to play San Andreas on PS5. Well, I thought you were going to get a PC. Get a PC, bro. Let's see, Ghost Fixer, if there's one thing I want Sony to fully get right, it would be the backwards compatibility. Yeah, see, Kari, PlayStation 4 is a great system, but the lack of backwards compatibility is one of its biggest cons. See, GB with talks about new systems, they have no intention of bringing all the... Well, yeah, exactly. They're not going to... That's why I said they're not going to be able to bring back all the 360 titles, Danny, because let's be honest, a lot of them weren't very good to begin with. I mean, there were definitely some classics on the 360, some very good games, but like of any console, there's also some shit games. That goes all the way back to the beginning, from like the Atari to the Intellivision to Sega Master to the NES. There were great, iconic, legendary games that we still know and love today, but there was also a lot of crap. They're not going to... Hopefully they don't waste their time on the crappy games. See, Ghost Fixer Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher's Bay with Dark Athena, Dragon Ball. Oh, that's just what you want. Okay, those are all the things you want, Ghost Fixer. Well, maybe you'll get some of those one day. Maybe, if you're a good ghost. You have to be a good ghost, though. Okay, so, yeah. It's no surprise that Sony's seriously thinking about this because Microsoft has been able to sell some Xbox Ones, Xbox One S's, and Xbox One X's because of the fact that a lot of fans of the Xbox 360 and now even OG Xbox games like Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was the reason why I bought the original Xbox, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm a sci-fi fan as well. And we will start throughout this series of the GB Cast, we will talk Star Wars. And we will talk Star Trek too, because I am also a Trekkie. And I think we're even going to talk a little Trekkie near the end. Yay. But we'll probably not talk about Star Wars today. We'll probably say that for another episode. But anyways, King Superman 64 was an amazing game. Not. Okay. So, back to games once again. Let us talk about what's happening this Tuesday in Red Dead Online. So, for the record, I will be streaming Red Dead Online Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to get up early in the morning for this, because technically it is a full-fledged update. It may be, like I was joking about last week, or this past week, Beach Bum Redemption. But the reality is this is an update. And I really hope that this actually does bring people back to Red Dead Online. Well, I think it will, because there's a list of things that they've fixed. Well, improvements. So we went over in 2 videos. So the first video we talked about all this in was this video. Player visibility, the bounty hunters, law balancing, which the bounty hunting system I've kind of had some issues with. The addition of daily challenges, which will be good at first, but yeah, it may not end so well. Let's see, Daniel, happy birthday, Daniel. I should send you a birthday attack, but we'll see about that. But happy birthday, Daniel. Let's see, other fixes. So we went over this a week prior. So that's all the technical stuff that they're improving. Well, hopefully it will improve the game. But content-wise, they focused on this article. But so they added, they're adding several new gameplay modes, which we talked about. Fool's Gold, and let's see, fishing challenges. These Up in Smoke. I made a Cheech and Chong joke in that video. Spoils of War, Plunder, Target Races. So they're adding some new modes. They're not. It doesn't appear that they're adding anything to the. Was it the story mode? Was it a Land of Opportunities? I don't think we're going to get any Land of Opportunities update. So I still think that we're going to have to continue paying Teddy Brown a visit. Again, I know he's getting tired of people visiting him. But with less and less people playing Red Dead Online, I'm sure he doesn't get as many visits as he was getting. Let's see, Riley, I'm just waiting for private lobbies. Exactly. And that's what's sad. That's one thing that a lot of people have been asking for. And no mention of the different lobby types in this article or this article. Still nothing about private lobbies or friend lobbies or posse lobbies or invite lobbies. Nothing at all. And one of my theories is they're doing all this stuff, all this technical stuff, this balancing, in order to try and make the lobby that we're all forced to be in together more quote unquote appealing for players that aren't necessarily into PvP. So if you go by the blips being changed on the map to where you don't see anybody anymore unless they're in really close proximity, or if they happen to be causing issues, them and their posse, that way you know what's going on. You look at the map and say you want to go to Saint Denis, but you see a whole bunch of like dots running around the map indicating that there's something going on there, some shenanigans, some people going back and forth killing each other. And that gives you the idea that maybe, just maybe, you might want to go somewhere other than Saint Denis. So they are trying to make things, I guess, like I said, more balanced for players that are not interested in PvP, let alone being griefed by other players. Let's see, Corscopio, what's up, Corscopio? But, yeah, if you go by all this, it just feels like Rockstar doesn't have any intention of giving us private lobbies or friend lobbies or posse lobbies where we can just hunt and fish in peace and goof off with friends and posse members without worrying about being griefed by other players. It just feels like they're trying to keep us all in the same lobby, but at the same time they're trying to keep us happy, those of us that have serious issues and legitimate grievances when it comes to other players. And that's something they mentioned regarding, let's see, I think over here, something about, where was it? The varmint rifle. The varmint rifle has been a favorite of griefers because it's cheap, you get it at a low rank, and up until this point, it's been a one-shot, one-kill for players, even though it's meant for hunting varmints in Red Dead Online. It's supposed to be a hunting weapon. Now, I understand that theoretically it should be able to kill another player if you shoot them like 3 or 4 times with it. But one shot to the head from that distance, I mean, it shouldn't work the same way as the regular rifles in the game. For one thing, being a somewhat quasi-gun expert, hunting expert, 22 rounds don't travel as far as, say, a 35-06 or a 270 or 7mm round, or big game rounds compared to a little 22 round. And the 22 round is what's used for the varmint rifle, but it can technically travel the same distance and cause the same damage as some of the other rifles in the game, like the bolt action, the Springfield, etc. That's ridiculous. And that's something I'm glad Rockstar is changing. The other issue that they're changing is the fact that, this part here, making pellets and carcasses more persistent after death or respawning, because if you accidentally die or somebody kills you while you're trying to go back to Tumbleweed or Valentine with your pellets, with carcasses, in order to sell them for money, it magically despawns. And that's another issue that a lot of players have had. So Rockstar seems to be trying to balance all this shit out. We'll get to that in a minute. But at the same time, it's just, I feel like it's not going to be enough. I mean, yeah, they're adding new clothing. They're adding this weapon. As Kane pointed out in a chat just a second ago, the rare shotgun mentioned in the newswire isn't new. It's available in single player. It's just a reskin of the double-barrel shotgun. Yeah, I mean, it basically is a double-barrel shotgun. I don't know what stats are going to be. Maybe the stats are exactly the same. I guess you could do a side-by-side comparison in story mode. But the only new weapon... Well, there's technically 2 new weapons. The Evans repeater rifle, which hopefully will be good. I mean, even though I do like my Lancaster repeater, I mean, hopefully the Evans will be worth getting. I'm sure it'll have some strengths and weaknesses compared to the Lancaster. And the other weapon is another issue that I'm having, and I've mentioned this in a rant, is this PlayStation 4 early access content. And it's so weird because at first the early access content, the first batch of it, which came out on launch day for Red Dead Online, it was all free. But then a little over 30 days later, it finally became available for Xbox One, but most of us found out that it wasn't free for Xbox One players. Not only that, they went back and they added prices to the originally early access content, like the the Chestnut Arabian Horse, I think article clothing. What else was there? Well, there was a few items, and I took issue with that, obviously, in a rant, because of the fact that if it was free for the PlayStation 4 players, whenever it was released, after the 30-day period, it should have also been free for Xbox One players, and maybe 6 months later, then add prices to these items. Similar to what they did with Beach Bum. Originally, all the items that came out with Beach Bum were free for Grand Theft Auto Online, but eventually they did add prices to the speeder boat, to what the S&S pistol, the broken bottle, melee weapon. Let's see, the Bifta, and what was it, the Paradise Van, if I remember correctly. But originally they had no price tags; they were free. But down the road, Rockstar decided to add price tags to them. Okay, that's what they should have done here for the first batch of early access content. Allow Xbox One players to have some time to get those items for free. Now, it's not ridiculously expensive, but still, it's the principle of the thing. And I don't like the idea of early access content at all. Now, like I mentioned, I have a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One. I play Red Dead Online on both consoles. And it just seems silly to me that I don't know what sort of deal was worked between Rockstar and Sony. That's never been mentioned, by the way. We have no idea what that deal is. I'm guessing it had something to do with money. Like Sony giving Rockstar or Take-Two money for this? But you think Rockstar and Take-Two would be making enough money off of Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online where they wouldn't require more money. But, yeah, I could be wrong about that. I guess you could never have too much money. Even if you are a multi-billion-dollar company, even if you are one of the biggest and most popular development houses in the world, like Rockstar, I guess, hey, if Sony's willing to give you a few $1,000,000, you know, okay, cool, we'll give you guys early access content. So the early access content for PlayStation 4, which includes open target races and this jawbone knife, which I guess is the third weapon that they're going to be releasing with the February 26th update, aka, you know, Beach Bum Redemption. But the jawbone knife will probably just look cool. But it'll probably be no different than the regular knife. Maybe stat-wise it'll be a little deadlier, a little bit more dangerous. But mostly I think that it's just going to be aesthetics. It's just going to look cool. So you're going to have that. Plus, apparently there's going to be some clothing that's early access, along with the three of the new emotes will also be early access. And those will eventually go from PlayStation 4 over to Xbox One 30-something days later. Whether or not the jawbone knife and the new clothing, that's early access for PlayStation 4 starting this Tuesday, is free, who knows? I doubt it. I think that it's probably not going to be free. I think PlayStation 4 players will probably have to pay for the jawbone knife, and they'll probably have to pay for the early access clothing, because there was some degree of controversy about it when that happened, what, a month or so ago? Well, early in the year. Damn. We're almost done. We're almost like 3 ways into the year. Like, it's already February 23rd. Damn. But, yeah. I mean, I know it wasn't that huge of a backlash, sadly. I wish there would have been bigger. But at the same time, I think so many people have become so tired of Red Dead Online that they just kind of walked away from it. They're just like, yeah, I just walked away and went to go play something else. But anyways, let's read chat really quick before we move on to another topic. Let's see. Riley, yeah, there's no mention of poker. No mention of poker yet. Oh, damn it. I had that fixed. There we go. Okay. Let me see if I can do something real quick. Make it look cooler. Let's conduct an experiment. Ah, there we go. Yeah, I'll work on that. Okay. So, anyways, actually, you know what I could do? Can I do that? Yeah, I can fix this. Let me fix this real quick. Let me make it look cool. We're tweaking it. We're tweaking it in the process. Okay. All right. Yeah, that'll work right there. What do you guys think? Yeah, that'll work. Okay. All right. There we go. See? We're tweaking things as we go. That looks a lot better, don't y'all think? Anyway, so I agree, Riley. I think that they should have added poker games along with the other mini games like blackjack, dominoes, five fingers, maybe even liar's dice. I'm surprised that that's. I mean, maybe it'll be a surprise. Maybe they're saving some. I mean, it's quite possible that they haven't mentioned everything that's going to be part of the February 26th update. It would be a great surprise. It would definitely win over a lot of people that have been asking for those mini games, and I'd like to believe that eventually those will be, in fact, coming to the game. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But yeah, I mean, that's just something else we could be doing in the game. Because a lot of people want to play poker, myself included. A lot of people want to play blackjack and dominoes, and Kane and a few others want to play five fingers and lose fingers for some reason. I don't know. I'm kind of happy with my fingers where they are, but, you know, that's just me. Let's see. Daniel, let's see. Tired of reskins? Yeah, please add a pool. I'm not going to add a pool. See, Ghost Fixer rarely used the varmint rifle. Not even in multiplayer. Let's see. Yeah. the SNS pistol. I mean, I never really cared for the SNS pistol. I'm more of an AP pistol fan. Yeah, too much is never enough. So, Archangel. That's my problem with donuts. That's why on the rare occasion I do have a donut. Usually I'll just get like 1 or 2 donuts. Of course, we don't really have a good donut shop. I mean, I get coffee from Dunkin', but their donuts are not very good. Their coffee's all right. Their donuts, not so much. Let's see. Car could have just been a deal from Sony as to push more PlayStation 4 sales, especially if Red Dead Redemption 2's release close to the holiday season. I don't know. See, I don't know if that's the case, to be honest. I don't really feel like that was necessary. I think that it was just money. Sony just offered money to Rockstar and Take-Two, probably to Take-Two, and Take-Two made the call about it. Like, okay, fine, we'll work with Rockstar to get you guys some early content for. It's not going to last forever. Like, I think it's only going to be like 1 or 2 more updates where this happens. Then there'll no longer be early access content. Like I said, I'm not really a fan of it at all. But eventually, at least Xbox One players will get the Jawbone knife. Those open target races, whether they're not good or not, remains to be seen. We'll see how that goes. As well as the early access, the 3 emotes, which, honestly, does anyone really care for the emotes, to be honest? I don't. I feel like the emote system works worse in Red Dead Online than in Grand Theft Auto Online. The emote system in Grand Theft Auto Online is a lot easier. It's a lot easier in Grand Theft Auto Online, so I don't even really use it that much. But the clothing options will be interesting to see what clothing PlayStation 4 gets in early access and what everyone on the Xbox One has to wait for. But hopefully we get like a ton of new clothing. I really want some sweet hats. Like, a lot of the hats in the clothing store are kind of shit. I want some good quality hats, Rockstar. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so. See, Daniel, pistols don't get enough love. Well, we have technically, 2 pistols in Red Dead Online? We have the semi-auto, and then we have the Mauser. And I think those are probably the only 2 pistols that you're going to see, potentially. Well, 3. The Volcanic is also a pistol. See, Red 5 Motors, what's up, Red? How's it going? Now, if they would have set Red Dead Online in, I don't know, 1907 as opposed to 1899, maybe we could have gotten 1 or 2 more pistols and a bit more technology and maybe some old-timey cars from the turn of the 20th century and maybe some, early airplanes and biplanes and monoplanes. See, Daniel, yeah, cowboy and cowgirls need nice hats. Yeah, I mean, like I said, a lot of the hats in the clothing store are not very nice. I don't like them. There's a couple of them that are decent. Most of them are kind of shit hats. So hopefully we get some good quality hats. And good quality clothing as well. So that's pretty much what's transpiring in Red Dead Online. Once again, coming up this Tuesday, the new update to Red Dead Online, which we will be checking out. And I don't know if I'm going to get up early in the morning for it. I probably will. I probably will. Might as well, right? I said I would, like, whenever it comes to an actual update to Red Dead Online or Grand Theft Auto Online. If it's just like something drip-fed, and that's probably something else to consider. The fact that we're going to most likely be getting some drip-fed nonsense. That's probably what's going to happen. See, Kamal, I don't know if I'm even going to do Act 3, to be honest. Because I can't get enough people to volunteer. And to be honest, I don't really care. I'm kind of over it, to be honest. But anyways, back on topic. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Rockstar has plans for like some drip-fed content in Red Dead Online. Giving us more incentive to have to log in every week. Oh, hey, log in this week to get a new cowboy hat. Yay. Or a new pair of pants, or a new pair of boots, or a new jacket. I don't know. They're not going to be able to do it to the same degree as Grand Theft Auto Online, because in Grand Theft Auto Online, I think that cars are a little bit more interesting than, say, a jacket or a hat. But it wouldn't surprise me. I think they're still planning a major update in April. And this is kind of like I said, it's kind of like Beach Bum Redemption. It's to hold us over. It's to try and get people back to Red Dead Online, because Rockstar knows that Red Dead Online isn't doing so well right now. I mean, they probably see all the numbers. And they've also seen the reaction on Twitter and social media and countless YouTube videos out there. So they know they have to do something. They have to do something. And that's what Red Dead Online's February 2016 26 update is going to be. Riley, jets are never coming to Red Dead Online. The best you could hope for would have been like planes or biplanes. But with the setting of Red Dead Online being 1899 instead of 1907, I don't see that happening. See, Red 5 Motors, I don't care too much for multiplayer of Red Dead. I hope some content goes to single player. Yeah, I'm hoping that as well, because originally in the early days of Grand Theft Auto Online, we did get content carry over from Grand Theft Auto Online to Grand Theft Auto 5 story mode, like cars, weapons, for example. That stopped after Ill-Gotten Gains Part 2. That's when Rockstar not only stopped doing that for Grand Theft Auto 5, from Grand Theft Auto Online to Grand Theft Auto 5, Ill-Gotten Gains Part 2 was also the last update for last gen. So kind of an infamous update. It was the final update for anyone that was playing Grand Theft Auto Online still on the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3. So after that, it all changed. But thanks to PC, players are able to mod in a lot of these cars now. So, well, at least mod it into story mode. Because if you mod it into online on PC, you potentially could get in trouble for that. And that's one reason why I've never did any modding on PC for Grand Theft Auto 5. Because even if it was an accident, I always feared that maybe, just maybe, it would come back to haunt me. Come back to bite me on the ass. See, Riley, well, Grand Theft Auto went from 2013 to 3013. Oh, so the high-tech vehicles, like the broomstick, I know. Kites for Red Dead Online, Kari just wants to be able to chill and customize his own kite and put ribbons on it and just have it float around. Have like a normal, like, different looking, like a diamond-shaped one, maybe one that looks like a Chinese dragon. And we could have like kite shows where we could all check out each other's kites and see who could keep their kite in the air the longest in Red Dead Online. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm sure that the kites will be expensive as hell, right? Just like everything else. We're giving Rockstar ideas for the kite update. When I was a kid, I loved kites. I haven't flown a kite in forever. But yeah, you did, Riley. You're right. You do have to watch out for lightning. You have to watch out for lightning. Yeah, don't be like Ben Franklin. Then you discover electricity. Well, I think we already know about electricity, so there's no need in doing that. But anyways, yeah. The Benjamin Franklin outfit. Kites are going to cost $1,000 in Red Dead Online. Yeah, and there's it's also the customization for the kites as well. That's going to cost money. Yeah. Or 10 gold bars, yeah. Exactly. And that's another thing about the DLCs. Is, like, with this content, the weapons that are coming, the clothing, I'm guessing that the items probably won't be too cheap. The Evans repeater, I wonder how much that's going to cost. The rare shotgun. Whether or not it's any better or worse than the double-barrel shotgun remains to be seen. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it looks like a double-barrel shotgun. Canadine, what's up, Candy? Let's see, Daniel. Throughout my whole life, I think I've only flown a kite once. So, I'm guessing that the rare shotgun, the Evans repeater, will not be cheap. The clothing items coming, which, by the way, is going to be jackets, boots, coats, gloves, hats, vests, and more. That's probably not going to be cheap either. So we'll see how that pans out. But, like I said, this is going to be for Fool's Gold. That's for Fool's Gold. So that's a new mode. Fool's Gold, fishing challenges, which I'm kind of interested in. The good thing is, apparently, they're going to make it during fishing challenges. You'll be safe from trigger-happy outlaws. I hope you're just safe from trigger-happy outlaws in general when you're fishing going forward, because you're extremely vulnerable whenever you're fishing in Red Dead Online. So I like the idea of fishing challenges, but at the same time, I want this to apply for any time you happen to be fishing. Not just during fishing challenges, but we don't even really know what these modes are going to be about either. But hopefully they'll be decent. They'll probably just be more adversary modes, re-envisioned, revamped, and brought over to Red Dead Online. So that's what's happening on February 26th, this coming Tuesday. New update to Red Dead Online. It's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. Is it going to make or break Red Dead Online going forward? I guess we'll find out. I think that the content will be good, but it's all the other stuff that's going to be all the tweaks in the background to the game. That's really going to determine whether or not the game's more playable, because some people still have server issues when it comes to getting on or attempting to get on Red Dead Online. Okay, so I think we're done talking about Red Dead Online. Let us go talk about... Oh, shit. All right. Let me just refresh this real quick. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so we're going to talk about Star Trek Discovery. Now, I like Star Trek as much as I like Star Wars. I'm a fan of both. I know there's people out there that consider themselves Trekkies, that hate Star Wars, and vice versa. But see, I like both. And lately I've been disappointed by the showrunners, the writers behind both franchises. I'm hoping that Episode 9 of Star Wars is way better. We will see. I know the Clone Wars is coming back. I think that's going to be on Disney Plus. I am excited about that. I hope that it feels like, well, I hope that it feels like, Star Wars. Well, it feels like the Clone Wars continuation. You'll pass on the topic. Okay, well, that's fine, Red. That's fine. But that's the point of the Gcast series. I talk about a wide variety of topics on the Gcast series that I'm interested in. Some of you are interested. Some of you are not. That's just the way it goes. But, so, Star Wars is up in the air. I still want an Obi-Wan series. I'd like some Old Republic action. But Star Trek also has a special place in my heart. Like I said, I'm not trying to start any sort of fight between Trek fans or Star Wars fans, because I like both. I love the original series. Next Gen, I would say Deep Space Nine is probably my favorite. Voyager was okay. Enterprise started to get better, but went downhill. Overall, the Star Trek movies have been hit or miss. And those are the movies before the J.J. Abrams era, the Bad Robot era. Like, some of them were good, like Wrath of Khan was good. Voyage Home was pretty good. Undiscovered Country was pretty good. First Contact was good. The others, they had their moments. And for the most part, I mean, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, which, well, let's just call them the Kelvin Star Trek movies, because it's in the Kelvin timeline. Because there's several different variations of the Star Trek timeline now. There's the Prime timeline, which is apparently original series, Next Gen, etc. And then there's Kelvin, which is where the Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies take place in, with Chris Pine and all the other actors involved with those three movies. And there's not going to be a fourth Star Trek movie because of several issues. See, Kane, I want my own Kenobi film. Well, hopefully one day we'll get a Kenobi film. Be nice if we did, while Ewan McGregor's still excited about doing it. But going back to Star Trek, when Star Trek Discovery was announced, I was excited about it, but I had my own reservations, because if there's an issue I had with the Star Trek movies that are done through J.J. Abrams' company, Bad Robot, it's the fact that I really would have preferred them going somewhere else and not being a reboot of the original series, or the Kelvin verse of the original series, featuring characters we know and love, like Kirk, Spock, Bones, Scotty, Uhura, Chekhov. I would have preferred them just going somewhere else with the Star Trek franchise, but unfortunately, those are recognized names, and that's, for better or worse, why they ended up going with basically rebooting Star Trek. And fortunately, they kind of made an excuse, like, okay, well, this is the Kelvinverse. This is a different timeline, an alternative reality to the Prime universe. But for the most part, I mean, the second one was basically a rehash of Wrath of Khan. Wrath of Khan was way better. Star Trek Beyond was all right. I like Star Trek Beyond. The first Star Trek in the Kelvinverse was good. It was enjoyable. But moving back over to Star Trek Discovery, when it was announced, I was excited about it because Star Trek Discovery, I feel like, is at its best. I mean, Star Trek is at its best when it's a TV series. And at first, I was hoping that it was going to be set maybe like further in the 24th century, or maybe even in the 25th century, like after the events of Voyager and Deep Space Nine. And when I start to get concerned about Discovery was whenever they mentioned how it was going to be 10 years prior to the original series. That's when I started to be like, what? Really? That's what they're going to do? They're just going to put it before the original series? I was just like, that's when the first like warning flag went up. But I still, being a Star Trek fan, wanted to give it a chance. So I got the CBS All Access. I'm one of those that bought it, so I have it. There's so many streaming services now that I just, too damn many. Too damn many. See, Ghost Fixer, I've enjoyed Star Trek movies. I think the Dirty one's only the weakest. Enjoyed. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a matter of opinion. See, Daniel never got into sci-fi stuff. Well, that's understandable. Back on topic. So, the first season of Discovery had issues. I'm trying not to spoil Discovery for anybody. But they tried to tie in known characters from the original series into Discovery, and I think that's where they made a huge mistake. If you're going to do a prequel to the original series, that's fine. I feel like Star Trek's big enough, the Federation's big enough, to where you could have theoretically done Star Trek Discovery and had nothing to do with the original series at all. No callbacks, no characters. But unfortunately, they just had to do it. They had to connect Star Trek Discovery with characters already established from the original series. Like the primary character, Michael Burnham. Now, I don't have a problem with the actress that plays Michael Burnham. She was in Walking Dead. But she does come across as kind of a Mary Sue, her and Tilly. And Tilly does things that ticks me off as well. But the fact that they kind of retconned Burnham's character and squeezed her into Spock's life, even though at the time Spock didn't have a sister. I know this is a spoiler, but most of you probably don't care anyways. But apparently, you know, she was rescued by Spock's father, Sarek, and she was raised as Spock's sister. Now, throughout the original series and the movies, there was never a mention of Spock's sister. Now, Spock does have a full-blooded Vulcan brother that we find out about in, Final Frontier? Star Trek V Final Frontier, I think? Wasn't a very good movie. So, you could make the argument that just like with Spock never mentioning his brother, he just never bothered mentioning his sister. What I don't understand is why couldn't they have just simply said that Michael Burnham's character was rescued by a Vulcan captain? They could have created a brand new Vulcan character on Vulcan. Sarek doesn't have to be the only Vulcan character on Vulcan. He happens to be a Federation captain. He rescues her. He raises her. Or she raises her. It could be a female Vulcan captain. And you still have this thing, this struggle that Michael Burnham would have to deal with. Being raised on Vulcan, yet at the same time being human. That I would not have had an issue with. But it's just that they want to take things, the writers and the people behind Star Trek Discovery, and just force you to watch the show based on the merits of the original series. And that's a huge mistake. They should just let Star Trek Discovery be its own thing. And they should have done everything they could to try and distance itself from the original series as much as possible. Even though it exists 10 years prior to the events of the original series, allow Discovery to be its own thing. And that's where one of the mistakes happened. The other thing is a lot of the stories are hit or miss. A lot of it's cliche. And it really does feel like a lot of times the writers have no idea what they're doing or have no knowledge about Star Trek lore or never watched an episode of the original series or even a Star Trek movie. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but some of them feel like I'm a stickler when it comes to canon. When it comes to any franchise, whether it's Star Wars canon, Star Trek canon, anything at all. Like, when something's established, I don't like it being retconned. Now, sometimes the retcon can work. Sometimes it can make sense. But retconning something for the sake of retconning it and using known names in the Star Trek verse, like Spock or Sarek or Captain Pike or even the Enterprise, that stuff annoys me. I mean, yes, technically, 10 years prior to the events of the original series, Captain Pike's out there on the... Maybe... All right, are we back? Are we back? All right, chat, I apologize. Hopefully you all are still here. Let me know if you guys are still here or not. For anyone that's still watching. OBS was acting up. Or maybe the heads at CBS All Access were not happy with what I was saying. So I try to like these characters. And they have their moments. But sometimes the writing's just not very good. The set design looks good. Yeah, it's just an internet issue. An internet issue, you know, it happens, sadly. I'm glad to have you all back. Hopefully this stays one video. Hopefully. Please, internet OBS. Behave. But back on topic real quick before we move on. And chat, if there's anything you want me to talk about, feel free and bring it up in chat. Feel free. If there's like a topic about a game or a story, a hot take you want, comics, TV show, movies, whatever, feel free and throw it in the chat and we'll talk about it. But I didn't see the need for them to basically steal from the original series. And unfortunately, I don't think Discovery is going to be around. For one thing, I hear the Orville's doing considerably better than Discovery. Now, Orville is a show on Fox, which is basically a parody of sorts. It's become kind of its own thing. And it's was the brainchild of what, Seth MacFarlane, Family Guy, American Dad, Cleveland. I'm not really a Seth MacFarlane fan, but I hear the Orville's really good and is more true to Star Trek, sadly. And I am enticed and interested in checking out the Orville. So I think I'll probably will. Even though I'm not really much of a Seth MacFarlane fan, I do respect the fact that he's a fellow Trekkie. And I hear good things about the Orville. So perhaps it's time for me to go give it a chance. I mean, I was hearing good things about Umbrella Academy, and I gave that a chance. And I really did enjoy Umbrella Academy. As I mentioned at the beginning of the stream of the GB Cast. #1. Hopefully not the last one. Probably not. But Discovery is not doing well at all in sales. Like, it's behind the paywall of All Access, which is the first problem. That's the first issue, because most people cannot watch Star Trek Discovery unless they have CBS All Access. That was the first mistake they made. Because everybody has to have their streaming service now. CBS has to have it. Hulu, Amazon, Disney, you name it. And at the end of the day, I don't want a shit ton of streaming services. I really don't. The reality is, Star Trek Discovery should have just been promoted on CBS, which is one of the big networks in America. And it should have stayed on CBS. I think it would be doing considerably better ratings-wise, because then it wouldn't be stuck behind a paywall. The other issue is the budget's too expensive. It's like $8 to $10 million an episode. And they're not making anywhere near as much money. I mean, yes, I want it to look good, obviously. I want the CGI to look awesome. I want it to look as believable as possible. But I've seen several instances throughout this series where they're just having CGI scenes for the sake of having CGI scenes. And they're just doing this CGI scene because they had the money to do so. And that's one of the dangers whenever you have such a ridiculous budget for a series like this. Then it allows people to be like, oh, we have this tons of money. But what's the point of having tons of money if at the end of the day you're not making even more money in return? So it's not really a return on investment. So I wouldn't be surprised if Star Trek Discovery eventually gets wrecked. Yeah. Let's go to chat really quick. By the way, like I mentioned, you guys are welcome to bring up topics about whatever you want to talk about. This is the segment in the GB cast where you guys can bring up anything else that has not been brought up today. All right, so Sedan's here. Hello, Sedan. It's okay. Let's see. Ghost Fixer. Orville's a pretty good show. Yeah. And Archangel, yeah. Star Trek Discovery is not on regular TV, and like I said, that's the major issue. One of the major issues, not just the writing, but also the fact that they're not very good with the budget. I think they're given too much money to work with, and the setting of everything just doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. I think they just made some decisions that were horrible. Now they had several show runners that they basically, I guess, went through early on. And I think that was another issue. They never had a true definitive vision of the series. Let's see. Sedan. Star Trek Discovery is basically HBO. Misbehave. All right. I'm still here. Hopefully I'm still here, guys. I don't know why it's being like this. But let me know if we're still live, everybody. Let me know if I'm still here. Hopefully. I don't know why the internet. I mean, it's not like I'm doing much here with the internet. It's not like we're streaming a video game or anything. All right, we're back. Okay. All right, good. Glad we didn't miss anything. All right, we're still live. Good. Thanks, Beast Mode. Thank you, Work. Thanks, Archangel. Appreciate you. And Sedan. We'll see Red 5 Motors. As much as I know about CBS, the other two main channels. Yeah, there's CBS. There's CBS, NBC, ABC. Those were the original main three, but there's others as well now. There's other channels as well. And then there's cable channels and satellite channels and now Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. The list goes on and on. Let's see. Paradise Gamer, not sure if you care, but what are your thoughts on the Bumblebee movie? I've yet to watch Bumblebee, but I did want to talk about the Transformers Netflix series that's allegedly in the works. So we'll talk about that at the end. I keep trying to remind myself about that. Those window error sounds make me happy. Well, as long as you're happy, Red. As long as one of us are happy, I suppose. So let us go back to talking about shows. Yes. But I will check out Bumblebee whenever I get an opportunity to check it out. I heard it's okay. You know, it could have been better, but maybe it was all right. I don't know. Anyway, so let's go back up to the CW. Now, a lot of these shows I don't watch. We're going to specifically talk about the DC shows, because obviously comics is my thing. So The Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, Black Lightning. See, where's Legends of Tomorrow? I guess since there's no new episodes of Legends of Tomorrow, I guess they don't have them up here right now. Well, that's the other show. So it all started with, Arrow, and I didn't get into Arrow at the beginning. It was eventually, several people kept telling me about the Arrow. You need to watch the Arrow, GB. It's a good show. Eventually I got into it. I started binging it on Netflix, ironically, because they do put their seasons on Netflix, which is good. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Yeah, I hear that was a good show. It got canceled, but that's not the show we're talking about. We're talking about Arrow. Maybe I can just click on it, and you guys can stop being distracted. See, I don't want to do that. I don't want to spoil anything. So never mind. Never mind. But anyways, back to the CW shows real quick. So Arrow's been a good show. It's had some hits and misses over the seasons. Some things that people have not liked, decision-wise. But still, I would say it's probably the best show of all the CW shows. But because of its success, it led towards other CW shows based in the DC verse, like The Flash. The first season of The Flash was very good. I still watch all these shows. I have a habit of watching a show for better or worse. I mean, I like to watch shows from start to finish that are good, but unfortunately a lot of the CW shows have issues. So I watched The Flash. I watched Black Lightning. And I do like Black Lightning is different because it's not by the same showrunners as Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow. It's a separate team that does Black Lightning. And I like Black Lightning. It's not perfect, and you can tell that there are moments where they don't have much of a budget, but they do the best they can with the budget they have. And they have some great actors and actresses on Black Lightning. I really do like Black Lightning. I like it a lot more than Supergirl. I do like Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow it got better after its first season, Legends, when it stopped being so serious and just started having fun. Once it started having fun, it was good. Now, when it comes to The Flash, the first season of Flash was really good, but then it just started going downhill. And I feel like it hasn't gotten better. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that these shows have expectations. Like, each of these shows has at least 20 episodes a season, I think. Whereas a show like The Umbrella Academy and the Marvel Netflix shows had 10 episodes, right? Half that number. And so they are able to write, a lot better episodes because of the fact that they don't have to write as many episodes per season. They don't have to shoot as many episodes per season, and that probably makes the budget and the writing much more solid for 10 episodes as opposed to 20 episodes. Because a lot of times it does start to feel very watered down. Let's see, Paradise Gamer. Arrow liked the first 3 seasons. Then it went down. Supergirl was really good first season, but then it went downhill. Yeah, I agree. Let's see what happened to Superman's show. Superman is actually in Supergirl. He's featured every now and then, but I've never liked the way they've handled Superman in Supergirl. I like the actor that they cast as Superman, but there's just some silly nonsense that occurs. And I'm trying not to spoil these shows. And I agree, Paradise Gamer. That's part of the problem of a lot of shows now, not just with these CW shows, but a lot of the shows get too woke. They get too SJW, too political instead of just having fun. It's okay to have a message. It's perfectly fine to have a message in shows. But at the same time, you don't want to hit people over the head with it. And from what I hear, a lot of writers are very, very political nowadays. And it's one thing to be political in your life. We all have different views and opinions, but it's another thing to force those political opinions on other people. And that's what really annoys me. Let's see, Sedan, the message should never get in the way of the story. I agree entirely. And there are definitely moments when these shows do shine. And then there's moments when the shows don't shine. And they have issues and a lot of cliche things happen. But I imagine that shows like The Arrow, Supergirl, The Flash, Black Lightning, Legends of Tomorrow, and all these other CW shows that I don't watch. I hear Riverdale's good. I never watched it, but they're probably limited to the budget. And I hear Supernatural's awesome. That's like the oldest show on the network, is Supernatural. I think they just had the 300th episode, I think. But a lot of these shows are limited by a budget. they only have so much money, and they probably don't have the means to hire the best writers out there. I'm not saying that their writers are terrible, but you get what you pay for, and the writers are probably having to write out for 20 episodes a season. It probably takes its toll, especially when you have such a huge verse that you've created with the DC CW verse, like Arrow, Supergirl, The Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. Like I mentioned, Black Lightning at the moment is still its own thing, even though it is also a DC CW show. It's its own thing, and I hope it remains its own thing, because I fear the moment they try to put it into the DC CW show verse, it may start to have some issues. But overall, yeah, these are some of the guilty pleasures I watch, including Supergirl. Sometimes I watch them just to, I guess, because mentally I like to give my thoughts about this or that, and maybe I should have been a writer. Probably not. See, Sedan Miami Vice is where it's at. I've yet to watch the remake of Miami Vice. Oh. All right, so before we wrap up, I do want to talk about the Netflix Transformers series. Let's see if there's an article on it. Let's have a look, because that was one thing I wanted to talk about, because I am a huge Transformers fan. Let's see. See, it's Transformers Prime. Not seeing anything about... Nope. All right, so there's no article about it yet. Somebody mentioned it. All right, Transformers series coming to Netflix. All right, a Transformers. Okay, this is from a radio station. All right, where did they get this? There has to be a link to another article. Where did they get this from? I mean, I used to be in radio, so I mean, I'm sure the source is from somewhere. But anyways, according to 94.7, The Wave, the soul of Southern California. I'm sure there's a better article for this somewhere. Man, it's not like I don't trust an article from a radio station. I'm just saying that, yeah. But anyway, so this is what it says. This actually came out 2 days ago. Netflix has announced that Transformers War for Cybertron will premiere sometime in 2020. Let's see, we got to wait a little bit, but Netflix is teaming up with Hasbro and Rooster Teeth to bring an origin story in a new animated style by Japanese studio Polygon Pictures, a studio that brought us Star Wars to Clone Wars. That's awesome. Let's see, DeSanto, a veteran from the Transformers series, will be joining the production as well. In this Transformers origin story, we will explore the expansive universe of Cybertron in a way that audiences have never seen before, to the delight of both existing fans and those coming to the franchise for the first time. And I think that some of the team behind, or maybe all the team behind Transformers Prime, is also tied into this. So this makes me even more excited, because I've been meaning to go actually look over this for the past few days, but you get distracted a little bit about real life stuff going on and other things. And actually, you know, I think I mentioned something about this a few days ago. I don't know if it was during one of the live streams or if I was mentioning it to somebody in private, but this is actually what I wanted in a weird, crazy way, because we've had so many Transformer stories that have taken place post-Cybertron, you know, after the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons, that basically forced both factions to flee the planet because it was all but destroyed because of their war, and how most of the TV shows, the Gen 1 series, as well as the movies and Transformers Prime, most of it takes place on Earth later on, after the fact. So I think that Cybertron, War for Cybertron, actually has potential to be good, if this is in fact Netflix's plan. And another thing I like is Netflix will probably limit the show run to a certain number of episodes per season. So you'll probably get some really good solid episodes, hopefully. Like, it's not going to be padded down like your typical TV show that we went over a moment ago, like CW shows. And I think that's part of the problem. Like back in the day, yeah, shows had to have that many episodes a season. And some shows even had more, like a lot of the cartoon shows, like He-Man, the real Ghostbusters, other shows, like they had like tons of episodes, tons and tons of episodes a season. And some of them were good and some of them weren't so good. But I prefer quality over quantity. Paradise Gamer, Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformers, commercials in disguise. Yeah. So, yeah. On a serious note, I can't wait for this series. Yeah, as a Transformers fan, yeah, I'm potentially excited about this. I've been disappointed by the Michael Bay movies. The first one, admittedly, was okay, even with Shia LaBeouf in it. It was all right. Second one, the forced fight scene's the only thing I liked about Revenge of the Fallen. And see, now Kamal's missing out. So Kamal should be here for this. But I'm sure Kamal isn't here, ironically. Sorry, Kamal. But the forced fight scene was the only thing I liked about Revenge of the Fallen. The third Transformers movie was okay. And then it went to shit after that with the last two Transformers movies. It went crap. I hated them. But I did like the Transformers Prime series that aired a few years ago. But this one has potential to be different. Because occasionally you would hear stories mentioned throughout Transformers, various Transformers, like variations, G1, Transformers Prime, even the Michael Bay Transformers, about what life was like on Cybertron, the issues that led to the war, the politics of Cybertron. I know that doesn't interest a lot of people as much. But there's a lot of things that happen in Clone Wars that I find fun. Like the things going on behind the scenes, all the political intrigue. That stuff I find fascinating. I mean, you don't want to have too much of that, but I do want to... I always felt like it was weird there was a faction called the Decepticons. Because it seems like a very negative name to go by. Hopefully my stream's still okay. So this is what I would like to say is that I want there to be a reason why they're called the Decepticons. Now, obviously we know why they're called the Decepticons because they're the bad guys. They're deceptive. They do things that make us go like, "Oh, well, you can't trust the Decepticons." But I feel like it would be interesting if it's the Autobots that give them that name and they just run with it. And they don't have a name at first, but then they do things that are deceptive on Cybertron. They say they're going to do one thing, but they end up doing something else, like Megatron. Because originally, if you go by the various stories, like Optimus Prime and Megatron were actually friends. So I would like to see how that plays out. Like, why are the Autobots called the Autobots? And why are the Decepticons called the Decepticons? I know we're making too much out of this, and in the end, it doesn't really matter. But a lot of other stuff that goes on. I would like for there to be things that happen that are not entirely like that don't exactly paint the Autobots as 100% good guys, even though they are technically the good guys. But it would be cool if there were some things that transpired, maybe like decisions made by a younger Optimus before he became a Prime that may have had a negative effect on his friendship with Megatron. And there are definitely, from what I've read and seen, that there were some things that Megatron was standing up against on Megatron that seemed kind of legitimate. Like, yeah, you could see his point of view. It's just how Megatron went about trying to make change on Cybertron that what kind of differentiated himself from Optimus. And ultimately, that's what led to the war. But, yeah, there's definitely a lot of wiggle room when it comes to this potential Netflix Transformers Cybertron series. Let's see, Sedan, Game of Thrones is a perfect example of how to address politics can be done and not just turn off your audience. Exactly. Yeah. See, Megatron was a gladiator, and Orion Pax, exactly. Yeah, his original name was Orion Pax. You're right, Paradise Gamer. And Megatron was a gladiator, and he became kind of a champion of the people. And, Pax was, like you said, yeah, you're right about that. Let's see, Archangel. It's hard to find good writers these days. Well, there's plenty of good writers out there. You just have to get the right writers that are familiar with the lore and understand the importance of keeping something true to the fan base, because a lot of Transformers fans are going to want to watch this, and you just want to make sure that you are appealing to the fan base. And you know what? That could lead us to one final topic. One final topic I want to bring up today. The fan base. See Ghostbusters. But anyways, I hope you guys have been enjoying the first installment of the GB cast. Let's see, where is it? Alright, let's go with an IGN article. So there was an interview that Jason Reitman, the son of Ivan Reitman, did with Bill Burr. And this has been out there. A lot of people have talked about this. A lot of people have talked about a lot of this stuff. Yeah, the trick is to hire writers, not activists. I agree, Sedan. I mean, if people want to be activists, they want to be political, that's their right. But when it comes to being a writer, it's your job. And there should be somewhere where you put that at the door when you go into work, just like any other job. See, Fat Chinese Gaming. Hello, Fat Chinese Gaming. Hope you're doing well. All right, so the final thing we'll go over today is Ghostbusters director Jason Reitman says the sequel will hand the movie back to the fans. And this is on IGN, by the way. So this happened a few days ago on Bill Burr's Monday Morning Podcast. And Jason Reitman is the son of Ivan Reitman, who was the director, one of the guys, along with Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd, behind the first two Ghostbusters movies. So the Ghostbusters video game, which I did play because I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. And in the interview, this is one of the things that Jason Reitman said. Now, he's directing the new Ghostbusters movie. Let's just call it Ghostbusters 2020. This is going to be a love letter to Ghostbusters, said the director. I love the franchise. I grew up watching it. I consider myself to be the first Ghostbusters fan because his dad was the director of the original Ghostbusters, which is easily one of my favorite movies of all time. Continuing, when I was like 7 years old, the movie came out. I loved it. I want to make a movie for my fellow Ghostbusters fans. And let's see, we went back to work to the files, the sound of the proton pack. We went back to the stems of the Elmer Bernstein score. For that, the teaser, summer 2020, went back and found the original physical vinyl letters they used to create the Ghostbusters poster in 1984. Rescanned them, and then our title guys reprinted them. We filmed the titles, not in a computer. We shot physical titles with light and effect. So his team has been going out of their way researching the original Ghostbusters because they want to give it a feel and a look and a vibe that fits with the original Ghostbusters movie. And I applaud Jason Reitman and his team for doing this. The issue is that a lot of the outrage peoples on social medias didn't like what he had to say about giving this back to the fans. And a lot of them, of course, are pointing back to the failed Ghostbusters 2016 movie, which was a horrible movie, by the way. I actually watched it when it came out on video. I wasn't about to go to the theaters to watch it because, like I said earlier, I rarely go to the theaters anyways. And I have no problem with there being female Ghostbusters. I never had an issue with that. I don't have a problem with Captain Marvel being female. I mean, I like female characters. I like strong female characters. I like strong male characters. Doesn't matter what the background is. As long as they're well written, as long as it makes sense, as long as it works, without demeaning anybody else in the process, I have no issue. I never had a problem with the idea of female Ghostbusters. In fact, in I think what was it, Extreme Ghostbusters, one of the TV series? I think there actually were some female Ghostbusters, if I remember correctly. I never really watched it hardcore. I may have watched an episode or two in passing. I preferred real Ghostbusters back in the day when I was a lot younger. By the way, that's going off Netflix, along with the Ghostbusters movies. For those of you that still have Netflix, so you better watch it while it's still there over the next few days if you get a chance. But the more and more information that came out regarding Ghostbusters 2016, the less and less I liked it. For one thing, it was a complete reboot. And for years now, I have had issue with reboots. And this was no exception. Because we've had so many failed reboots leading up to Ghostbusters 2016, I didn't want another reboot. I wanted another Ghostbusters movie that took place in the same universe. And it made it even worse that it was going to have nothing to do with the first two Ghostbuster movies. And the fact that it happened to cast four actresses to be Ghostbusters, I did not have a problem with that. Even though they painted that picture where Ghostbuster fans were a bunch of, male chauvinist pigs that didn't want women to be Ghostbusters. That's bullshit. For one thing, huge Ghostbuster fan, no issue with female Ghostbusters. But the writing by Paul Feig, the overall directing was not very good. It had its moments. It wasn't a horrible movie. I've seen way worse movies than the 2016 Ghostbusters film, but it could have been way better. Because I feel like he just didn't understand the source material. He wasn't a true Ghostbusters fan. Now, I don't know the actresses involved. I think Melissa McCarthy mentioned how she was a Ghostbusters fan. Okay, but for the most part, I did not like Ghostbusters 2016. It wouldn't have been as big of a problem if Paul Feig would have been involved with Ivan Reitman. And I hear that there were some behind-the-scenes issues between them two. And another YouTube channel I'd recommend you guys checking out, Midnight's Edge, which does a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff for several franchises, including Ghostbusters, Star Trek franchise, the issue between Netflix and Disney over the Marvel shows. They do a really good job, going and fact-checking and putting all of it together. Kind of a docu-style, but there's issues in corporate between some corporate people and Ivan Reitman, and somebody in corporate at Sony wanted to hand over Ghostbusters to somebody else, like Paul Feig. And, that happened, and obviously it didn't work out. I mean, for one thing, sales figures were terrible, and the majority of Ghostbusters fans did not like Ghostbusters 2016. See, Tippy Tabby, what's up, Tippy Tabby? But, like I said, it had nothing to do with the cast being female. I did not like the fact that they made all the male characters look like morons, idiots, douchebags. They didn't even have one decent male character in that movie. I mean, I realize Paul Feig doesn't like guys. Okay, fine. Then get somebody on your writing team that can actually write a decent male character. We could have had at least one decent male character. And then they tried to win over the Ghostbuster fans by all these cameos. So they brought in various cameos from Dan Aykroyd, Annie Potts, Sigourney Weaver, Ernie Hudson, Bill Murray. They were playing different characters than their Ghostbusters 1 and 2 counterparts. But that was just fan service, or a failed attempt at fan service. And then the trailer for Ghostbusters 2016 tried once again to appeal to Ghostbusters fans by talking about the old Ghostbusters movies, how 30 years ago, four guys saved New York City. But your movie has nothing to do with those two movies. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. And it's no surprise that Ghostbusters 2016 failed. And I was extremely excited whenever this trailer popped. And I'm planning on going to watch Ghostbusters 2020 or whatever they call it whenever it comes out in theaters. And I feel like Jason Reitman and his team is going to do a good job. Now, the issue is whether or not you're going to have everybody on board. Sadly, Harold Ramis passed away. So at best, you could probably have at least Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson. I really don't know if you're going to have Bill Murray involved. I'd like for Bill Murray to be involved and hopefully bring back Ray Moranis, who unfortunately he's I think he's still kind of doing stuff on the side, but after his wife passed away, Rick Moranis focused on raising his kids, so he kind of stepped away from movies in Hollywood, but I think he's been slowly trying to get himself back into it. So maybe this will be a good opportunity for Rick Moranis to return. So maybe Sigourney Weaver, maybe Annie Potts will come back. I don't know. Is William Atherton still alive? I don't know, but still, it's a good opportunity to do a new Ghostbusters movie that actually appeals to the fans. Is it necessary? No, not really. But as a Ghostbusters fan, as long as it's done by Jason Reitman, Dan Aykroyd, because I'm sure Dan Aykroyd is going to be involved heavily along with Ivan Reitman, Jason's father, they probably know what their fans want. And like I mentioned, the original Ghostbusters is one of my favorite movies of all time. It was funny. It had excellent character development. It had two strong female characters in both Sigourney Weaver as well as Annie Potts. And this was in, early 1980s. Two independent women, career-minded. I mean, honestly, without Janine, where would the Ghostbusters be without Janine? I mean, she wasn't a bumbling idiot like Chris Hemsworth's version of her in the 2016 remake. Without her sitting there manning the office, answering the phone calls, telling the Ghostbusters where the hell they had to go, what was going on, where the hell would they been without Janine? She was a vital part to Ghostbusters. And Sigourney Weaver, strong, independent, successful orchestra player. You can have strong women in these movies without cutting down men. And I'm tired of the divisiveness that a lot of these movies have. It's ridiculous. But I love the original Ghostbusters movie because of so many factors. Because it was funny. Because it was scary. Because it had excellent music. And even a lot of the special effects do hold up still. I mean, maybe a little dated. But there's just so many things about it. Even the secondary characters you come across were good. The way it was shot was fantastic. Like I said, the music really is one of the parts of the movie I really enjoyed. It's still scary to this day. Along with everything else, the jokes, the story, from start to finish, it was good. Ghostbusters 2 wasn't perfect, but way better than Ghostbusters 2016. All right, let's get to the chat real quick. See what you guys have to say in chat. Oh. All right, sorry about that, chat. Went on a little tangent. Okay, so we'll start with Kari. I only want a Ghostbusters movie with the original actors, which is impossible. Harold Ramis passed away. Let's see. I say play the 2009 video game. Yeah, Harold Ramis, when he was still alive, and Dan Aykroyd both said that, for all intents and purposes at the time, Ghostbusters 2009 video game is basically Ghostbusters 3. Now, I did tweet the official Ghostbusters Twitter a while back whenever the teaser was announced, and I did inquire about whether or not the video game was going to be considered at the very least canon. And I shit you not, they actually liked my tweet. They actually did. I don't know. Let me go look on my Twitter real quick. Let's see if I can dig it up. I mean, I don't really... Let's see if I can find it. It's probably going to be all the way down here. I know Twitter's dead, but still. I was pleasantly surprised that the official Ghostbusters Twitter actually liked the tweet I sent them. Most of the time I get ignored. I get no love on Twitter. Well, next to no love. Except for those of you that actually follow me on Twitter. But anyways, let's see if I can find it. This was at least a month or two ago. I probably passed it. Just want to prove to you guys, because you guys probably think, oh, he's delusional, he's lying. No one ever likes your stuff, GeauxBurns. No one ever does, except for us. We like you. We like you, GeauxBurns. But the official Ghostbusters Twitter, nah. You're just imagining things, GeauxBurns. You're delusional. It's time to put you away forever. Yeah, but if y'all put me away, then I can't do any more streams or play games with you guys or interact with you. So it's kind of a lose-lose. Like, See, Tribute Mark. Goofy ass Tribute Mark sending me photos. Stop that, Tribute Mark. All right, I think I went too far back. All right, maybe I passed it. I probably did. Let's see. And yes, I do read over, even though if I don't acknowledge you when you message me sometimes. Most of the time I do, unless I disagree with what you had to say, then I just ignore you. And you have a right to your opinion, but at the same time, let's see, where is this? This was January. When did that trailer come out? Because it was around that time. It was about that time when the trailer came out. Let's see. Trying to find it. Nope, that's not it. God, I can't find it anywhere. Where is it? Oh, well, I should have had it up already. That's what happens when you do this shit on the fly, right, guys? All right. I'll find it in a second. I'll find it. It's here somewhere. Just talk amongst yourselves while I look. I don't know, maybe I won't find it. Come on. Ah, okay. Alright, so I think that was it. Or maybe they unliked it. I don't know. Alright. See, they did like it. See? Told you. Look at that. Well, you guys can't see it. God damn it. Hold on. Alright. So, alright, look. Okay, so this is when they put it out there. This was my response on Twitter. Awesome. Original Ghostbusters is my favorite movie of all time. It's funny, scary. Loved all the characters. Special effects still hold up. Music was beautiful as well as creepy as fuck. By the way, can Ghostbusters, the video game, 2009, count as canon? And look at who I got liking it. Boom. Right there, proof. See, Ghostbusters with the YouTube coveted check mark. They liked my tweet. I got proof right there. Right there. See? Ghostbusters actually did like a tweet from me. I wasn't lying. Everyone's like, wow, GeauxBurns was telling the truth. He didn't make it up. All right. Let's go back to reading y'all's thoughts about Ghostbusters really quick. Where were we? Let's see. Let me scroll. But I do, like Kari, I do think that they are going to be doing a passing of the torch. So I think they will introduce new characters. Because, I mean, the truth is Ernie Hudson, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray are both, they're getting up there in their age. So it's only natural that they're going to want to have a Ghostbusters verse. I think that was the plan with the 2016 movie. It didn't work out. So they're going to try it again, but this time actually make it appeal to the fan base. And don't be surprised if it's like 50-50. 2 males, 2 females, perfectly fine. As long as the characters are well written and they make sense, like I said, I have no issue with it. Alright, so, where were we? Alright, so, yeah, the Ghostbusters 2009 video game was awesome. And like I mentioned, if you haven't had a chance to watch it, I did play it from start to finish. There is a Ghostbusters playlist for you to check out on the channel. So at the very least, I hope that it's canon to some degree. That'd be cool if at the very least it's canon, that they acknowledge that it happens. You know, kind of like a little wink to the Ghostbusters 2009 video game fans. Oh yeah, Paradise Gamer. I heard about the Ecto-1 Transformer. It looked cool. It looked pretty sweet. Let's see. Sedan reboots are what happens when someone wants to write a new story, but they don't want to put work into things that develop in a new life. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let's see. Mariah Carey, okay. Archangel, you and Mariah Carey, okay. See, Sedan, well-written female characters are better than poorly written. Exactly. And that goes for any character. Just like Paradise says. You know, we want good characters, good male and female characters. We don't want shit characters. Doesn't matter if they're male, female, or alien, or robots, as long as they're written well. As long as the story's good, and there's a good plot, and it all makes sense, and there's chemistry. That's all we ask for. Not this same old, repetitive, recycled, cliche bullshit. Let's see. I don't mean to be sexist. I didn't like the movie because I just think it's strange having the women cast and men. Well, yeah, you're not being sexist, Tippy Tappy. That's the point I was making a moment ago, is that it's perfectly fine having female Ghostbusters, but in the 2016 film, which was horrible, by the way, like I mentioned a moment ago, that the characters could have been written a little bit better. There could have been at least one decent male character. I mean, what was wrong with making Chris Hemsworth's character a decent assistant? I mean, don't you want a good assistant? And you're not just hiring him because he's hot and Mr. Muscles. It shows how sexist they are by hiring him. Like, oh, you just hired him because he's hot and tall and muscles and sexy. And that's something that we get shunned on by society whenever you look at a hot girl or a hot guy. I mean, shouldn't his character have been more than just looks? If Janine would have been like that, or if the remake would have been like a complete remake, and it would have been even worse than Ghostbusters 2016, and they made Janine like that, where she was an idiot, but she was just really, really over the top attractive. Oh, there would have been some fury there. A lot of people would have been pissed about that. But that's what I'm saying. We want good, strong characters, male and female. So he said, Dan, Rick Moranis' return would literally make my life. The guy's fantastic. The Ghostbusters 2020 movie could be the opportunity to do that, though. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the guy wouldn't mind a paycheck. I mean, who doesn't? Let's see, Sedan. Don't forget stupid guys in original Ghostbusters. We saw human characters had both. Yeah, I mean, it's okay to have a stupid character, but don't make all the males or all the females stupid in your movies. But the reality is there's always going to be stupid characters. That's just the way it goes, because there's stupid people in real life. Let's see, Sedan, I really enjoyed Ghostbusters 2. Yeah, I did too. I still watch it. I mean, obviously the first Ghostbusters is the best in my opinion, but for a sequel it was okay. Could have it been better? Yeah. But there have been way worse sequels. Let's see, Ghost Fixer, I'm going to give the new Ghostbusters a chance. Hope it does well. Me too. Let's see, I haven't seen the new Ghostbusters movie. I'm trying to look forward to it. Well, the new Ghostbusters 2020 movie, Archangel's still in production, so none of us are going to get to see it till, I think, hopefully 2020. Hopefully. Unless something happens, right? So, Dan, the fact that they're bringing back, well, yeah, they show the 1959 Ecto-1, the 1959 ambulance Cadillac. They show it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will be Ecto-1. Maybe there'll be an updated version of Ecto-1, which could make sense if they do it right. But at the very least, it's nice that they're paying homage to it. But we'll see how it goes. Even if they do bring it back, they're going to have to, I guess, update the tech, the equipment and all that stuff. Let's see, Archangel, it was fun. Joy under every rock. Okay. All right. Well, good for you. So it reminds me of the one time when Mafia... Okay. Let's see. All right. Well, I guess that's pretty much it on this particular topic. Speaking of good things, before we wrap up, once again, I want to encourage all of you to check out The Umbrella Academy if you have Netflix. If you're into superheroes comics, it's a lesser known comic series. I didn't even know about it until the series on Netflix. It's definitely worth checking out. I enjoyed it thoroughly. 10 episodes, great characters, starring Ellen Page, of course, and a lot of the characters I really enjoyed. And there's a lot of growth in the characters from the beginning to the end of the first season. Hopefully we'll get a second season. Like I said earlier, it's doing well enough where I think it more than merits a second season. And I really did enjoy The Umbrella Academy. So I hope that you guys check it out. And feel free and let me know what your thoughts on it regarding The Umbrella Academy after you watch it, if you get a chance to binge it on Netflix. Alrighty, well, I think that is going to do it for today. I really appreciate all of you guys being here for the first episode of the GB Cast. I couldn't come up with a better name, so that's what we went with. Ghost Fixer, really enjoying the first GB Cast. Let's see, Archangel. Indeed, I'm enjoying it as well. Let's see. Ellen Page, 13-year-old me, might give this a chance. Yeah, Ellen Page does a good. I mean, she's a good actress. I like her. I like her as an actress. I don't always agree with her politically, but that's okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hide your comment, Archangel. Sorry. But yes, if you guys enjoyed the GB cast and you want more GB casts, like would be very much appreciated. And like I mentioned, that's what we're going to do. We're going to cover a wide variety of topics. Video games, we'll talk about video games like we did today. We talk about comics, sci-fi, TV shows, movies. And like I mentioned at the beginning, it's not going to be taking over the channel. We're still going to stream other games. We're still going to do rants. I'm still going to cover Red Dead Online and Grand Theft Auto Online. It's just something new that I'm adding to the channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, though. And hopefully this is the first of many episodes of the GB Cast. And down the road, I do hope to eventually have a guest on every now and then. But for the most part, this is how it's going to work. I mean, not bad for the first episode. It could have gone way worse. I think the worst thing that happened was the internet was crapping out a little bit here or there. That's to be expected, though. I see Fat Chinese Game. I'm here to support. Sorry I never watched Ghostbusters. Well, that's all good, but I recommend you check out Ghostbusters, especially the first one. Check out Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. Don't go watch Ghostbusters 2016. Just don't. Don't do it. No. Let's see. Paradise Gamer enjoyed the first episode. Looking forward to more. That was nice being here as well. I really appreciate all you guys being here. Archangel, Ghost Fixer, Paradise, Fat Chinese Gaming, along with Sedan and Tippy Tabby. And if you're still here, you want me to say goodbye to you. Now you can say goodbye in the chat. And I shall, well, say goodbye to you as well. Yes, in Discord we do have a GB Cast room you can go into. And you can post-stream. We can talk about these more. Everything we brought up today. Your thoughts about Umbrella Academy, PlayStation 5 backwards compatibility, Captain Marvel. Are you going to go see it? What do you think about it? Along with the new Ghostbusters movie that's in the works. Everything else that was brought up. And ideas and links to articles for future installments of the GB Cast. Marion, thanks for being here, Marion. Appreciate having you here. And, of course, as always, to our awesome viewers, subscribers, mods, fans, Super Chat heroes. By the way, thanks to today's Super Chat heroes. Crone, as well as UG Outlaw, thanks for your Super Chats. I shall add those to the wall for the rest of February 2019. So, for the next whatever live streams and GB Casts we do for the rest of the month, you will be on the wall going forward. So, thanks again to Chrome, as well as UG Outlaw for their Super Chats. And to some of our newest subscribers, Hunter Gaming, along with James Sapp. Thanks for the subs. Welcome to the GeauxBurns Nation. And, of course, shout out, as always, to our awesome members going above and beyond for the GeauxBurns Nation, as always. And if you want to see more installments of the GB Cast, you can also subscribe and hit the like button. Likes are very much appreciated. We also stream Grand Theft Auto Online, Red Dead Online. I cover both. And on occasion, I do rants and other good stuff, too. I also stream other games that come out that interest me, new and old. And like I mentioned, you're welcome to subscribe. Join the GeauxBurns Nation. Ring, ding the bell to be notified about future content. We have a variety of social medias for you to go check out, including Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, a vlogs channel, and a political channel if you guys are into politics. I try to keep the politics off this channel, and I keep it over on my political channel. Political channels, link below in the description section along with the vlogs channel. I'm going to try and get a vlog up Monday. Hopefully I'll be able to do so. And our awesome Discord community, thanks to Dan for linking that in the chat. If you have Discord, you're more than welcome to join us on Discord. A wide variety of things we talk about, Grand Theft Auto, gaming in general, and other good stuff as well. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, from me to each and every one of you, from the bottom of my heart, as always, thanks for watching.